Make sure you don't say Humpty Dumpty though.
Okay.
Okay.
What?
You know why though?
No.
I made that up.
Should I? I was like,
you can say Humpty Dumpty as much as you
I was
want
like, do
to.
people normally incorporate that in conversations? Hi, my name is Mariah Morgenstern, and this is my LA Year One. I moved to LA in the summer of 2018. It was July. I had graduated from film school in May and sort of made the decision that if I didn't move to LA, why did I study film for 4 years? So my mom drove to my apartment in Orlando where I was at college, and she packed up all of my things and basically was like, we're moving to LA. And so we got in the car and she drove across the country from Florida to LA. And so that was sort of the precursor to me moving here. And when I got here, I definitely had that moment of excitement and joy and, oh my gosh, I'm finally in LA. I've been dreaming about this moment for so long and it was so exciting. And then reality kind of starts to hit. I think when you first arrive in LA, you have this mindset of like, everyone's been waiting for me and I'm finally here. And that is not the case. I would say in most cases, nobody knows that you got here, and you sort of have to find a way to navigate through all of the craziness and interesting parts and beautiful parts and fun parts about LA. The first, I would say, 6 months that I was in LA, it was definitely a culture shock. It was so different from my hometown, and I didn't understand the highways. I still kind of don't understand the highways. And just basically like the culture's so different. Going from like the East Coast to the West Coast, you'd think because it's like the same country that everything would be similar, and it wasn't. People talk differently here. There's different slang, there's different styles, and it was just a lot to absorb and try to figure out. And I just remember being really overwhelmed. And also it's so hot here. The climate is so dry. So just so many different things that I had to kind of take in and figure out, what was my place in all of this. And it took some time. It definitely took some time. But because I had gone to film school, I really wanted to make sure that I moved out here and I pursued film. So I told myself that I wasn't going to take a survival job. I didn't work in a restaurant, which was what my previous experience was. I didn't work in a coffee shop, which I've done before. I didn't work in a burrito shop, which I've done before. I just sort of decided that I was either going to work in production or I wasn't going to work at all. And that caused me to develop some credit card debt, but it did pay off. I got my first production job 2 days after moving to LA because, as it goes in LA, my brother's friend's roommate was a producer and gave me a job as a production assistant. And that's kind of how LA is. It's your brother's friend's roommate. It's your uncle's cousin's sister. It's this huge network of people, and just trying to find somebody that's willing to kind of give you that first opportunity. And so I had that for me pretty immediately, and I just kind of started working in production right away. And it was pretty daunting and scary, but worth it. And then from July to December, I had worked as a production assistant, a production coordinator, a production manager, and then also a producer in the music video and commercial world. So things moved slowly but quickly, and I think that's kind of the vibe in LA. Things can go really slow and feel really slow, and then all of a sudden it's like rocket lightning speed. All of these doors are opening and you're like worried about saying yes too much because what about the other opportunities you might be losing? And then things go quiet and you have to kind of figure out why they're quiet and not let it get to you. And there's definitely an interesting like ebb and flow that LA gives you. So again, expectations versus reality. When I first landed in LA, even though I got a production job pretty quickly and was sort of slowly making my way into the industry, that wasn't what I necessarily wanted to do. I want to work in film, of course, but I wanted to be a director and a performer. And when you are in LA, you kind of are waiting for that moment of someone to be like, you're perfect for the movie I'm making, or hey, you look like somebody who directs, but that's not how it goes at all. And that's when you say it out loud, that sounds crazy. Why would anybody think that way? But I think you kind of get caught up in like the magic and, you know, pursuing your dreams and, oh my gosh, it's happening, that you think it's just gonna happen. But it can't just happen. You have to work really hard, and you have to put yourself in situations that are outside of your comfort zone, and you have to talk to people that maybe you wouldn't normally talk to, just to see what it's like and gather information. And it's so important to be genuine. In this town, people can really tell when you're just talking to somebody because you're trying to get something from them, and that's not how you should approach obviously life, but definitely not living in LA, because people will find out very quickly what your motives are. When I got signed to my theatrical agent in June, so it was pretty much like at the 1 year mark where I finally got signed to a theatrical agent, which was really, really awesome. He had told me that things just take time. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, especially in LA. It just takes years for people to get to know you, for people to kind of understand like what your brand is and who you are, who you really are, and see kind of like where you fit in this giant puzzle. And that for me was really scary to hear, but it was good to hear as well. I think we're so used to like instant gratification of like getting things right away, or you know, you post a photo and people like it and it makes you feel good, or you tell somebody that you're doing a project and they're really supportive. But in the grand scheme of things, it takes a lot of time to make your mark, and it can take years, and that's not a scary thing, even though I thought it once was. But it's a really exciting thing because it causes you to sort of like be in the moment in this journey and see where it takes you. I tell everyone that LA is full of opportunity, and you just have to be willing to just engulf yourself in it and chase it, because opportunity won't come to you. You have to find it. And so it's like the scavenger hunt of, you know, running around Los Angeles and trying to find like your place in all of it. But that's definitely the expectation versus the reality. The expectation is that it's gonna happen right away, and someone's gonna say like, oh, we've been waiting for you. But the reality is you have to show people who they've been waiting for, because they don't know who they've been waiting for. And that is monumental in whether or not I personally believe you'll make it, because you can't expect anything to be handed to you here. You have to really want it and chase it, and when you get tired, you have to pick yourself up and keep going. But now moving forward, or fast forwarding, I work primarily as a production manager or a line producer in the film industry, primarily in commercials and music videos, which is really fun. So in case you aren't familiar, the hierarchy is kind of production assistant, coordinator, manager, and then like your line producer role. So I've been doing that a lot. I've also been expanding my photography business, which has been really exciting. And then I am an improviser and a student director with the Second City Hollywood. And that is my big thing about LA that I'm thankful for. I spend a lot of time at Second City, although it's closed right now, but when it reopens, I spend a lot of time at Second City, and that's definitely a place that is so much fun. And if you're ever visiting LA, go see a show at Second City. I don't work for them. This is not a plug, but you should go because it's a lot of fun. Yeah, and I've also been working on my directing portfolio, so working on some short films. I'm producing, and I co-created a web series that we are currently in pre-production. We're about to go into production for. It's called The Shutdown. It's very topical right now with COVID and quarantine, and that's a project that's really close to my heart. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, my first year in LA was a lot of production and learning about the business and what this whole world looks like. And now moving into the present, I'm trying to take more of a creative side and see what that looks like. And so far it's been pretty fun, so hopefully I can keep doing it and keep exploring and see what content I can make, and hopefully people enjoy it. We'll see. Stay tuned.
All right, great. That was perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Super dope.